Hello everyone, this is Steve the Dragon, and welcome back to another episode of Fire Emblem Heroes. Here we are, barely scraping our way to stay in vaults, but we did manage to do it, and surprisingly, we have quite a few replays this week, so let's get started. Now, of course, we're using literally the exact same defense from last Dark season. Like Blind Dark season, because, well, I have nothing much better to do on this defense. So overall, I would say offense was a success. As bad as it looks, of course, the reason why it turned out so horribly is because we lost an entire double match. Not a big surprise, given some particular units existing in Dark Season now. It's just overall a horrendous matchup, so not really much we could do in that aspect of things. We get an auto loss matchup, we can't win by definition. So we were pretty fortunate to find matchups we had a chance of winning, even if it meant stacking a unit or whatnot. We were still able to win, which was super nice. And because of that, we got enough scoring to where losing that double match still didn't matter, which is the perks of having so many merges. And Ash bonus stats coming in clutch this season as well. The plus 10 HP. I had her face tank one hit from a Brave Self, which generally speaking does not happen, which is pretty absurd, especially if Emblem's rocking her huge shenanigans on us. Without Aiden support, yeah, Ash was going to get absolutely obliterated in that matchup. I really wanted Nino to be able to face tank that Brave Self, but it just not quite there. Being green does not help at all. And of course, running low speed defense. If we didn't have low speed defense there, I think I can't remember the numbers exactly. I'm pretty sure we still died, but it's much closer than got it. And here, well, of course, I don't know what they were expecting with Kronia, because they didn't even have any chip damage set up on our team. And the healing tower, of course, still exists. I don't know what they were expecting there, but of course, Ascended Tiki is going to absolutely annihilate our Seliph, but they already lost too many units, so they're going to surrender here. And, well, we have one of the frequent high-ranking players in E3 randomly getting matched up into us. I wonder how this is going to go. Of course, we don't attack at all against Gale Force, and this is a Gale Force team, so not too big of a surprise what's going to happen here. Funny enough, not actually survived there. Bonus stats for the win. But, of course, that just sets up Wings of Mercy for them, so that doesn't help us out in any way whatsoever. And, of course, they have their safe defense, so that's just a free turn 1 snipe, and so we're gonna get absolutely wrecked here. I'm thinking, honestly, from here on out, we might want to just swap out the location of the real and fake traps, but I don't think it matters so much. Assault Troop's really nice, though, for instances like that, because the movement is teleportation. In that particular instance, even though Summer Edelgard was hit by the heavy trap, she could still move normally with Assault Troop, which is nice for them, not great for us, but I'm gonna be real, there's so many ways for them to win with one of their teams here, let alone their other 4 teams, so yeah, seems about right. I'm not really sure if we're ever going to build save units, but if we want to build a good defense at this stage of the game, I'll probably have to. But that's the thing. If we build up our save heroes purely for defense, because yes, they will score pretty reasonably well in Arena too, so there's that, I guess. But the main thing is, what if Light sees, or just offense in general, gets an option like Emblem that actually scores? Because of course, I actually do see people bring Emblem on offense because they cannot be fair to score if they're just going to completely lose their matches while trying to score well. It's better, this technically is better to win your matches, but just not score as much, because getting any score greater than 0 is more than 0. So, here we got our meme shenanigans here. Nothing special is going to happen here. I decided to meme and not give keep rally speed on Legendary Sigurd. Realistically speaking, it makes way more sense for us to have no assist on him. For example, in that instance, if we didn't have him, we can't really make this play because then Legendary Sigurd could move and get danced, and then, for example, snipe down duo peony here. So, yeah, there's that. But like usual, we're just goofing around on defense and seeing what the heck happens. But I gotta say, Bolt Tower, once again, best unit on our offense team. Also carried us in a lot of matchups. There were some I definitely had my own fair share of goofs on offense like usual now. We had a couple of hit and runs where I didn't run properly because I can't count tiles for some reason. I was just like, aha, after I reposition once, I can reposition another unit again. And they definitely will not be overlapping each other, no, not at all. Yeah, that was not quite right. What I'm referring to is we did an attack with air to attack a duo Doom on this tile, then we dance. And I was like, I can repo here, but I had Caden sitting here. So I was like, oh, we can't repo twice because Peony's danced here and there's no way to get my units out of the way, so I had to do a tactical sacking like usual when we do. What can you do? And well, I'm not sure what our opponent is planning here, but they are able to take out the Solo because Ignis is not ready. Feels bad, man. Honestly, I don't even know why we're running infantry pulse still, other than it's minimal investment. And well, Legendary Sigurd's just running around the place, picking up kills all day long. But of course, at some point it has to come to an end. Feels bad, man. No damage reduction when the enemy units are below 75% HP. Not that it would have mattered there, but we do manage to full sweep here, just because we can surrender. But yeah, there were some very curious unit placement choices. Of course, I was looking at their defense, and I can understand that they didn't have the greatest options for that, because of course, if you cover one thing, you have to sacrifice another thing. So our opponent had Medius and Healing Tower affecting only 3 units. So we could just use Bolt Tower, chip damage to get away with things. Not too big of a surprise there. But, yep. Here, their Brave Dimitri is going to clearly wall everything, not a surprise. Like, heck, even if Legendary Female Violet just got a bunch of attacks in on him, it would still take a while to pick up the kill, as you can see. She did a whopping 11 damage. Unfortunately, they left Asker for us, so there's that. Mill doesn't get to dance, feels bad, man. AI things with damage reduction, totally fair and balanced. Maybe we could try doing end turn only with Brave Dimitri with a ton of support, but again, the problem is he has to be able to win his worst matchups with no support, because of course he has his particular useful Emblem. I definitely encountered quite a few double Emblem defenses this week. I think we encountered four out of 9 matches, because we had to do 2 single matches at the end of the season to clinch our way to stay in vaults. But that's basically half. Close enough. Half of our matchups with double Emblem. I think 7 out of 9 matches had at least one Emblem, so yeah, not great. And not gonna lie, even if we had Emblem here, she would not do anything to help our defense out, because she's also a red unit. So in that Brave Dimitri matchup, yeah, that wouldn't have ended any differently, unless they once again allowed us to pick off their other units. Pretty much the deal there. And here our opponent has the great strategy of using the same unit twice, but on both saves. So, straightforward win, as far as I can tell. There's just stat balling and easily walls. And there's nothing we can do about it. Trying to go after not here, but they have both of their save units all in range. We don't have Emblem for undefended shenanigans. Even then, still wouldn't help, because they can just send up their save units up front. We can't do anything because we just do not have the stats straight up to win the matchups in the first place. So it does not come down to, oh, they can just cluster up together and hit end turn in a save ball. They could just check their save units as is, which is pretty funny. But yeah, on offense, pretty fortunate we're able to win a lot of those Emblem matchups. Definitely helps that she's not bonus, she's having plus 10 more HP, and we're trying to deal with her speed-based damage reduction. Yeah. Or I guess the technical term now is dodge, or the official term for the effect is dodge, but rip to us. We also faced, of course, plenty of save units, so we definitely needed to bait a ton, and that's really why Emblem is incredibly annoying. I ran into one of the double match that we lost was up against a double Emblem team. They had a very simple double Emblem setup, of course, on top of columns 2 and 5. One of them was set to 7 slot, so of course if you hit end turn, the Emblem is still going to be covering those 3 columns at the start, or at the start of the next turn. Which is great for them, of course, not great for us. And then the other Emblem had a rally. So we have essentially played it exactly so that the Emblems ended up probably exactly where our opponent designed them to be, which of course not great for us. Speaking of not great, our opponent here just gives Zelda a free kill of his choice. Of course he picks the highest HP target he can kill because AI things. But yeah, that matchup was just super unfortunate. We got exact lethal, I think, 3 times or something. Apparently I screwed up my damage calcs for one matchup. I think it was between Summer Micaiah and Air. It was an exact one-shot somehow. Even though I calculated surviving by a large margin, so I'm assuming Attack Res Catch 4 did proc, but I have no idea how it would proc because Air was below 100% HP, and I'm pretty sure there was no debuffs on her, so I have no idea. I also completely forgot to damage calc the matchup I had where Air was baiting a dual lift, Because I knew there was undefended, or dude going down, so Air would have to take him out by herself. But I didn't calc, and he survived. That was the one matchup I didn't calc, and he survived, and so their Yoon with Wings of Mercy swooped in and sniped down our Ashe, which is definitely a huge deal. I feel like if we still had Ashe in that matchup, we might have had a chance to survive at that point, but everything kind of just spiraled down after that first initial bait. So what can you do? Our opponent here, of course, going to easily wall again. Not too big of a surprise there. Just now they're using Brave Hector for some reason. We also played pretty cautiously this season. Used a lot of Milla's turn wheel to make it to turn 8 so that we could pick up future structures and close out the match that way. I mean, that's why we have Milla for a reason, right? Because of course the problem is in those specific matchups where we could take advantage of Bolt Tower. First 2 turns are just doing literally nothing, and then after we bait on turn 3, we have to generally wait and bait or stall for another turn because we can't hit and run typically because of the high mobility of the other enemy units. Or of course there might just be a save unit and we actually just can't hit and run straight up. But no follow-up seal being super clutch on Nino this week. Again, I mean, I don't think it's ever going to not be clutch, it's just too good. Allows her to bait out so many more units than she would normally be able to. Super nice. But, oh man, that is some harsh damage going down. Our team actually kind of doing damage. Knot is definitely the largest threat here, but now the Bolt Tower's gone down not so much to deal with the... So the reason why, of course, the student took so much damage was we have this thing called... Wait. Did even Pulse Tie even proc? I don't know. I'm not even thinking. Maybe it wasn't recharged. Hold up. I think it was just not recharged. I'm not paying attention. So brain dead. And well, at this point, they're not getting the ether structures without letting Sylvia attack a billion times. So she actually straight up doubles there, which is amazing for us, not for them. And of course, they're going to win this matchup. It's just kind of the at what cost kind of deal. It's like Sylvia's got her special ready. And well, she's not going to be able to do anything with the face, of course, near save. But feels bad. And at this point, we can see that Brave Dimitri clearly just obliterated him. I wonder how a lot of other teams beat Brave Dimitris. I'm guessing there's a bunch of shenanigans with like Yoon and whatnot. And I'm sure Feud definitely has to do with it, because if you get Brave Dimitri support, I don't think it's realistically possible to take him out unless you can get rid of all of his damage reduction entirely, which means beating his defense stat, which you probably aren't doing when he has heavy support. So probably a combination of that, of course, neutralizing field buffs. Using like Light and Dark too on Legendary Julia is nice. Could probably also use some AoEs or something. But yeah, if his defense stacks up enough, his fixed damage reduction is super strong. So, but it's not overpowered by any means if you can get rid of his percent base damage reduction. Because let's say, for example, he doesn't have any percent base damage reduction based off of his defense. Then, let's say he has 100 defense, which honestly is pretty feasible for Brave Dimitri for raids. At 100 defense, your fixed damage reduction is only 20. I say only, but that means units doing, I don't know, 80 times 2 or something is going to be doing 60 times 2. Or even at 60 times 2, which is pretty reasonable given his res stat. Base res stat. Like this Brave Dimitri here, even if you gave him some res boosting skills and whatnot, he would still only have maybe 60 res tops. So any reasonable unit nowadays has at least 80 attack, weapon triangle 96. So there you would only do 16 times 2 or something like that, but that's assuming he has 100 defense, which again is not, it's possible but not always realistic. But yeah, these people are just bringing tanks that can just easily deal with our team. Not too big of a surprise there. Not going to lie, with Ascended Tiki, I always forget that how the how the special cooldown memory works, in that it only applies to the first attack, or before the first attack. So I thought, for some reason I thought it was basically infinite chaining, so you wouldn't be able to ever proc a special 10 out of 10 average. Because that would be 100% most likely imbalanced, because sure, of course at some point you wouldn't be able to win the res check because of stat creep, but realistically speaking, yeah, you would do fine. Here, there. Ascended Tiki just walling everything, not at full HP, but doesn't need to be. Have their chip damage from Duo Thor now. Looks like they're just gonna bait Celis here with Ash, which makes total sense. Celis never going to be able to survive the counter. And even if he did, he still doesn't kill anyways. He's doing base 0 damage with his attack, and he does not have that much defense for Ignis to one-shot 56 HP. So, yeah, no. Now all that they have left to do is pick up the ether structures. It should not be too difficult. And there we go. Last but not least, we have probably Gale Force. I haven't watched these last few replays because they're more recent. Alright, Disinterest. Yep, pretty budget. You know, if you ignore the merges on the mythics, pretty budget. I'm definitely thinking about summoning on the is it the New Year's banner? It has, I don't think it has Duo Peony and Duo Dagger as shared focus on green. I was thinking about considering summoning until I get either of them, just one copy. Of course, there's a lot of units in this game where you can just get one copy, and sure, they won't be at their max potential, but boy will they get the job done. For the most part, even unmerged. So definitely thinking about it. At this point, I don't really know if it's even worth saving a +10 dual crown, because honestly at this point he would be purely for support. Because he has no, in this current meta of save units, he just does not have any way to beat them. There's no special in the game that will allow him to pick up a kill. Maybe AoE, but then he actually has to do damage on his actual attack to pick up the kill, so that's kind of a problem. And the thing with that, of course, is he has to be able to probably attack more than once in order to pick up the kill, and he actually needs an attack sound and whatnot. So basically, I would be +10ing him purely for the special acceleration support, which, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's not going to age poorly unless there's some effect in the there's some effect in the game that just prevents you from using assists, like isolation, but essentially it's permanent. Then again, he already comes with isolation and shenanigans, so I guess we shouldn't be too concerned about that. Overall, we made it. So back, we're staying in vault. I don't know why we're saying we made it back into vault. Resonant Battles, of course, last season we fell out of interval 18. I didn't even know we were falling out of interval 18 because I didn't even check. But of course, now that we're in 17, it's going to be an easy climb back in. And Arena, I ended up giving Alphonse a Fire Blessing just to make it easier to fish quickly. So we should be staying or going back up to tier 21 with the score. And next season, I believe, is version 2 bonus, so that'll be fun. Hopefully, at least the season after that has a good bonus unit for us, just so we have some sort of incentive to actually try to stay in tier 21. I know recently, because there's been plenty of poor bonus units. Poor bonus units. Like this week, for example, the cutoff has been pretty low. I think even 3,850. 3,850 is a guaranteed stay or something this season. I don't know because I'm not in tier 21, but yep. Seems fine. But there is maintenance happening for the rest of the day today, so I guess we'll be back after reset when the results drop in.
Yes?